So Jarvis, we just had a happy conversation. We started the party off the way it should be because
Yeah.
I feel like it's still happy times and party days in Flowery Branch from what we're hearing in these first returns from the coordinators and rounding out Raheem Morris's staff. Wish I
Mm-hmm.
could tell you the same was coming from downtown. Not. Yeah, still angry from last night. Sure am.
Yes,
Still angry.
I am too.
As my boy Deshaun Tate put it in our Locked On Hawks postcast, the birds got by the bees. And it was I know it's corny, but it was true. It was corny, but it was true. And it's really one of those situations where Jarvis, we used every cliche that is out right now. The math ain't mathin'. Make it make sense. Nah, bro, what's going on? I mean, we literally went down the rabbit hole. It was
Oh
so
my
bad, Jarvis.
God.
It was so bad. And then to follow up on that, just if you guys know Jarvis and I, then you know that we are super cool and bosom buddies with our guys Andy Bucker and Randy McMichael. And they literally said, we'd like to extend our condolences to you, Tenitra, to have to cover the Hawks this year. That's where we are. That's how middling and frustrating a situation we find ourselves in yet again. Because Jarvis, get this. Not only are we at a point where the Hawks are heading into this All-Star break, 7 games under 500, having lost to a team that had only beaten 12 other teams this year, or 11 teams, because they beat you once before. So there's that back in October. But yeah, literally we're going into that. And get this. This is the worst record the Hawks are taking into the All-Star break in the last 5 seasons. That's where we are. We're not even middling anymore, Jarvis. That's how bad it is. And so at this point, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of speculation, a lot of commentary on where in the world do these Hawks go next, because of course we're now also beyond the trade deadline. So there was an article that talked about being bored by the NBA trade deadline because maybe not a lot happened for your particular team. The Hawks in particular, we know, didn't make any moves, and some of the bigger moves like Pascal Siakam, which he was one of the guys that everybody was gunning for, ends up with the Pacers, and not really a lot of exciting moves from there, right? Well, enter the chat Trae Young. And it's right now, you got multiple conversations. Boy, I hate that term. But anyway, yeah. You got that. But that's what's happening right now. Like one of the more recent ones, and I wanted to add to that as well, something I heard just this morning. One was it's more likely that the Lakers will be the ones maybe pursuing that younger star to complement LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Might that be Atlanta's Trae Young? Now, a couple of Eastern Conference execs are saying, hey, he might be available. A Western Conference exec even said, I think they would love to trade Trae, meaning the Hawks. And at this point, I kind of likened it to this, Jarvis, and I'm going to kind of fall back and hear from what you have to say. Oh, let me just add the other team, and then I want to hear what you have to say. But at this point, I feel like there's no middle ground, right? You're either going to crap the bed and just go on and tank your little self out and rebuild, or you're going to go all guns blazing and try to ascend to the top of the Eastern Conference. I don't think there's any middle ground anymore. I mean, you've been middling for quite some time now. Now, there was some speculation out there, even this morning, that maybe the Spurs are interested in pairing Trae Young with Victor Wembanyama, but that's probably the one that has the least traction because word is that wouldn't be a good fit for, okay, well, let's just be real, Greg Popovich. Just in terms of, how he likes to approach his game and the players that work for him in his system. But Jarvis, at this point, where are you? I mean, do you think the Hawks should trade him? Why would the Hawks love to trade Trae Young? I mean, where are you? Given where we are now?
For me, the number one question that needs to be answered when it comes to this team, how can you get better? And when it comes
can you get
better? I feel you can. Here's how. This may sound crazy. People might look at me and say, Jarvis, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or you should stop doing sports. I'm not going to stop doing sports, first of all. And secondly, this is how they get better. They might have to just trade Trae. Because here's the thing. You got a point guard right here in DeJounte Murray, and he's not that valuable on the market given what you traded for him already, because you already made a mistake by giving up 3 first-round picks for him. Now, granted, I know he was an all-defensive guy and all that stuff, but it just that was a lot. That was a
Yeah.
lot. And now you can't think about tanking, because shoot, the doggone San Antonio gonna reap the benefit of that. you know, in 2025, starting in
Right.
2025, they're gonna reap the benefit of that. So you can't go that route. So here's the thing: who has the most value on your team right now? People just starting to realize that Trae Young is a really good basketball player. Oh, he actually tries on defense now. Oh, we might be able to work with that. Yeah. Okay, Boston. Y'all got 2 superstars. Y'all got 2 guys that play the same position. How about we give you Trae? You give us Jaylen Brown. We pair Jaylen Brown with DeJounte Murray. That backcourt a little bit different. That wing spot is a little bit different now. Now we're talking about, okay, we can have some serious conversations about getting better. That's the only route that I see the Hawks getting better is think about Trae Young. See what's out there. And I really, really like Trae. I love Trae.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love his growth and everything, what he's been able to do since he's been here.
Mhm.
But if we're talking about answering that number one question, how do you get better? You can't get better by trading DeJounte Murray. All that is, you might be able to get a first round pick. Is that going to get you better? Probably not.
Probably not. Not in the
You know what I'm saying?
immediate.
Not in the immediate. So I think that if you're trying to immediately win games and you say, you know what will you be willing to offer? Landry Fields, because Landry Fields, it's time for him to put his stamp on his team. I've been saying this, like all this stuff that's going on with the team right now. Travis Schlenk did it, right or wrong. Jalen Johnson, that was a right. he got that one right for sure.
I'll give you Onyeka Okongwu as well.
Well, absolutely,
I
definitely give him that. Absolutely, but Onyeka Okongwu ain't got no real value that can get you better. So hey, you develop. Keep them, develop them in your system and get them right. Like, so for me, I just feel like if I hate to have to go that route, but if the Hawks want to get better, if that is the number one goal, just to get better,
right,
they have to seriously consider trading Trae.
But I think that's the question: do they really want to? Because I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You want some? Oh, I'm with you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because remember, last week's statement was the R word, resulting.
Oh gosh.
They said they weren't focused on resulting. I looked up the definition of resulting.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Please help me out.
Yeah. Occurring or following as the consequence of something. That's the definition of resulting. Like literally talking of a general election and the resulting political uncertainty, meaning you do something and then there should be an occurrence or something that happens. He said they're not focused on resulting. They're really focused on developing. So that's why I say it not to be disrespectful and not to be rude or anything. I am simply saying by definition of resulting, you're saying that's not what you're necessarily going for and that people get too bogged down in it. Well, then that tells me that that's not the focus. And that's why I said I think it's trending more towards a rebuild because if you're not resulting, then that means you're not trending in the direction of trying to catch the Celtics, or you're not trending in the direction of trying to catch the Bucks.
Bucks, yeah.
Or the Sixers when Joel Embiid is in the lineup. Basically, your top tier teams and the Heat when they go, on their deeper season.
Yeah, they're gonna go on the run.
Exactly. That's why I always have to put them up there. I'm like, bump what they look like today, people. Don't even pay attention to it. Yeah. But that's why I question it, because that statement spoke volumes. And again, you and I were never of the mindset that DeJounte Murray should just be tossed out there just because, so you could say, hey, we made a trade, we did something. But Jarvis, here's what last night did. And before we wrap up, you and I just got to talk about this real quick. Last night was another great example of how resulting you're right, resulting is not the focus. The focus must be development of some sort, because resulting, if you thought about it, it would have said to you, I have to go get somebody. Like, it may be a third stringer, and we know we don't really talk in strings in basketball, but hear me out here. It may be, here's Clint / here's Onyeka, but it's got to darn sure be somebody between Onyeka and Bruno, because that ain't it. And so, knowing
Oh
that
my
Clint
God.
Capella was already injured and injury prone,
Yeah.
knowing that you took an L on Jalen Johnson for 5 weeks, who would be like your emergency center, if you will.
Right.
That means all you can rely on is Onyeka. You were stacked in your backcourt. You have Kobe Buffkin and the Matthews boys and all of those other. You've got us stacked enough so that if Trae goes down, you got Bogey. You know, even though I know Kobe's young with it, but I'm just saying, like, your backcourt is stacked.
You have a body or
You got
somebody
bodies.
that
There it
with
is. You got
potential.
bodies
You know what I'm
with
saying?
potential. Exactly.
Yeah.
But what do you have in case your front goes down? Lo and behold, your front court went down. Clint Capella is returning to practice when All-Star break wraps up. They didn't say games. They said returning to practice. Onyeka Okongwu was called out on Tuesday after the MRI results to be evaluated in 7 to 10 days. So you won't even be evaluated until the 20th or somewhere between the 20th and the 23rd, which means that you're probably not coming back in the month of February. That's where we are, Jarvis. I just had to put that out there just in terms of asking the bigger question of what is it that you're really gaming for, because now you find yourself in a situation, and it played out last night, although it was really the backcourt of the Hornets that smoked the hell out of the Hawks. Ultimately speaking, there were so many moments in that game where it was clear that you are suffering now that you don't have a lot of front court support.
Yeah, that Bruno Fernando situation last night was an atrocity.
God.
It was trash.
Yeah.
That was awful. Like, they're trying to take advantage of a weakness, obviously, with the Charlotte Hornets down low. Obviously, there was a weakness there, but oh my God, they used Bruno
Didn't even
Fernando
matter.
to try to do it. Like just an entry pass. He couldn't even cut.
Yeah. It was, there it is. Yeah.
That's
No,
all on you, Lanty. That's your damn fault.
there it is. Exactly.
Right
But we talk about, no, exactly. But you're absolutely right. It stops. The buck stops at the front office, and the buck stops at the ownership. I know that they don't necessarily want to put that money out there like that, but Jarvis, it's like you said, if winning is really the goal, or resulting is the goal in some way, shape, or form, then there maybe have to be some resets in the approach. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about another reset, a shocking reset of an approach that we've been actually talking about on a number of our shows the last few weeks, and it's now touched down right here in our backyard. We're going to talk about it in the Around the Metro coming up next.